Obviously, very pleased from a lot of different levels. Number one, bounce back. I didn't think we were particularly sharp on Thursday against Notre Dame, and to be able to come back here today and play against Boston College is a good team. They've had some really good wins this year. They beat Notre Dame early in the season. They should have beaten UNC early on, and they make you play make you play a different way. And so our kids, short turnaround, bounce back. It's good to be back home. I think this is only our fourth conference game at home this year. But we had a lot of kids individually step up, and it very well could be one of our more complete games that we played this year. On both ends of the floor. So extremely proud of the kids. I thought Liz was fantastic with 29 and 15. She really didn't have a lot of court time last week, just trying to rest her and, get her back healthy as possible. And so I think she got into a groove tonight. Asia Shepherd, she didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but I saw some things that reminded me of her of old. Georgia was phenomenal. Probably missed a couple shots that she could have made, but she ran the team and did a phenomenal job for us. And then my two little bookends on my power forwards, Azana Baines and Deasia Gregg, did a tremendous job. Tremendous job, just really playing off of Liz, rebounding the basketball, being tough, offering us some physicality, which we need in this league, but particularly tonight because they're a physical basketball team. So I thought we did a really good job, and I'm very proud of our kids and their effort.
Get Ryan in the back.
Coach, if you don't mind just talking about Kayla King as well. I mean, it seemed like she was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
She was hitting the three, but she was getting the offensive board, defensive rebounds, you name it, being able to kind of step up on that level.
She does things that may not show up in the stat sheet. She's a very smart player. We put her in positions sometimes where she's going to have to, it's either going to be feast or famine. She had to guard Schwartz and Garden Schwartz in desperation time when you get up 19. Schwartz is going to shoot a lot, so she made a couple plays that probably bailed her out. But a couple of the rebounds that she got, offensive rebounds, stick back. I think she had. She's always a threat to be able to knock down the three. I've always called her my security blanket. And when I know she's out there, I know good things are going to happen. And so, very proud of her. One of my favorite kids to coach, and just smart kid, and she really played well tonight.
In terms of the bounce back, what was kind of your message to the team coming out of the Notre Dame loss, coming into this game?
Well, we were disappointed that we lost. We felt like that was a great opportunity for us to show who we are, who we can be. We didn't think we played our best basketball game. We watched it. We watched the film. We talked about it. But the reality of the whole situation is Notre Dame is a good basketball team, and they're playing. I know they lost today. They were playing well, and we had to lay it out for them. Okay, you've had 10 conference games, 7 of them have been on the road. Your 3 losses in conference are all to top 25 teams on the road. We're going home. We're coming back home, playing in front of our fans, and so it's one game. It's one game, and one game doesn't make a season, so let's not let it be a hangover to where it affects the next game. And we pretty much, we just wiped the slate clean. I put on my psychology hat. I have an honorary psychology degree that hangs above my office wall. As much talking as you have to do to kids, and I had a lot of conversations, a lot of one-on-ones. We had one with Liz. We had a film session. Had a film session with Georgia. We talked. I had a long conversation with Asia Shepherd. Had a long conversation with Azana Baines. All these are one-on-one. Just stating what we needed. It's pretty much the half-point way, and what do we need? The rest of the way in order for us to be successful, and just kind of basically telling them what they needed, and they all responded today, and I was very proud of them. So, we'll enjoy this one for a couple hours, and then get ready for Clemson on Tuesday.
Obviously, you didn't play Shepherd or Amor a ton of minutes in that Notre Dame game. What message were you trying to send that you felt they responded to that and gave you what you wanted today?
Well, they weren't giving, and on that particular night, they weren't giving us the best chance to win, and so they're not the first people that I've done that to. And for Georgia, I was a little upset with her just the way she was running the team. And you know what? I decided to let her watch the game, watch to see what she needs to do. And right away, man, we touched down from South Bend, and she was wanting to watch film, and her disappointment was that she let me down, and that she let the team down. And so we had a long conversation, a long emotional conversation, and I just think she just has to understand when she walks out there how good she really is. You know, she's one of the best point guards in this league, and every time she walks out on the floor, she needs to act like that. And if she does, then she plays extremely well. And that was it. And then me and Shep, we had a talk, and I just wanted her to get back to herself. You know, symbolically, we threw a piece of paper in the trash and said, you know what, that's the season up to date. Okay, we're gonna start a new season. And I thought she stepped out today, and she missed a couple of shots I thought she could have made, but nonetheless, she was back from a mental standpoint, in which we're gonna need for the rest of the year.
Ryan again.
If you don't mind just talking a little bit about the aggressiveness point and the aspect point of it. It was kind of like Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston going out.
Yeah.
At one point in time, there was a lot of bodies.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, this league, unfortunately, has turned to that where you have a lot of teams who are, they predicate their style on physicality, pressure, and trying to get out. And they implemented rules a few years back that took away the physicality because of they wanted freedom of movement. So the scoring would be up more. And some teams still, they just come after you. And I was proud of our kids because there's been a few games where we've allowed the team to control the narrative, and we play back on our heels. And tonight, we were playing more downhill and being more aggressive. And so when that happens, something's got to give. If you're going to continue to foul, you either have to stop fouling or you're going to allow a school to almost set a record. Did we set a record?
You did.
Well, they're going to allow a school to set a record for most free throws in a game. And so we continued to be aggressive and take advantage of it, and they continued to foul. So we got to the free throw line, and we knocked them down, 31 for 33. Liz, tremendous, 11 for 12. Everybody else, stepped up and knocked theirs down. So, we can continue to do that. We need to do more of that because we are a good free throw shooting team. And I know our numbers don't say it, conference numbers say it, but you get the right people going to the line, you're gonna be successful. And I think Liz has been tremendous from the line ever since conference play started.
Is that what you mean when you said they make you play a different way?
Yeah, they do. They get out and they pressure, and right from the beginning, we ran our first 3 sets just to see what they were doing, and they're switching everything. They're denying the ball back to Liz so that we can't get it to her in rhythm, and then they were very, very aggressive, trying to get steals or rebounds or take the ball from us once we had it. And I thought the game, I got after officials a lot. I thought there was a couple fouls that they missed, but, I thought they officiated the game extremely well considering how physical it was.
In the second half, you shot the ball very well.
Yeah.
compared to the first half.
Yeah. And we took advantage of what they were trying to take away from us. And you're going to, play Liz a certain way. We did a really good job. And this is going to be really good for us this week because, we got a couple teams that are coming in who will play the same way. We got a lot of high-low action that we hadn't been getting before. Kids are starting to see it a little bit better. And then once Liz gets going, then it really opens things up for the outside.
You said halfway through the conference schedule, halfway through the season. What's kind of been your honest assessment so far? What did you like?
I mean, I honestly, you always want more. You always want to be better. I don't know what coach says, man, we are great, and I just love where we are. We can be better. But in the grand scheme of everything, we're 8-3 in conference play. 8-3 with 3 games, here, right in a row, with a great chance to, help yourself. And we haven't gelled. We haven't been as smooth as I would like. But you give credit. We're one of those teams that people really have to game plan for. And when you have Liz Kitley is the best player in the league. And I don't care what anybody says, what the ACC network analyst says. She is. Her numbers that she gets, they're with 2 people on her all the time. I don't see anybody else in the league getting double teamed like she gets double teamed. And, so when you have that, sometimes it does take you out of rhythm when they put 2 people in there when you're trying to throw the ball there. So now the kids are starting to understand, okay, if they're going to double team Liz, then this is going to be open. And we found some angles that are going to be open. And so I think we have a lot of room to improve, and we can continue to get better. So I don't think that we haven't shot the ball as smooth as well as I would have liked, but I think that we have the capabilities all the time to do that.
Well, record-wise, are you kind of expected where you thought you would be heading into the season?
I think when you, whatever coach says that they don't look ahead and say, okay, this is where we could be, they're lying. You know, there's probably one or two games that I felt like we probably could have won that we didn't. But there's also, one or two games that it's going to be a very tough task, and you go in there and you get them. And so we just kind of live in the moment. I think everybody's goal to try to win the ACC championship, first and foremost, you have to try to get the double bye. And if we can position ourselves for a double bye, that's pretty much our short goal. Other than going 1-0 every day, in order for us to win the games we want to win.
And then it's your first of 4 games at home in an 8-day stretch. Are you worried about maybe the energy impact it would have on your players during the season, or are you just kind of like looking at it and say, hey, that's what the schedule says? Well,
It is what the schedule says. I mean, obviously the Clemson game kind of adds one in there, but it's just good to be at home and not have. I mean, I don't mind traveling, but I'm tired of traveling. I'm tired of the hotels. I'm tired of so it's going to be really good to be home. Have to reintroduce myself to my wife and my youngest daughter because I haven't seen them in a long time, it seems like. And, so it's just really good. But also it's great to be back in Castle. And I would love for it to have, more people here in Castle. I think we played at Notre Dame the other day, and they had like 5,000 or so. 1,600 here tonight. I think this was just as loud, or louder. So we can continue to get, more and more people here. This will be a tremendous home court advantage for us because we got some really good teams coming into to Castle this week.
and then you said Asia was getting back to herself in her old way. What do you mean by that?
I-
What do you see? What do you like?
I mean, I think it's very obvious that she's been putting a lot of pressure on herself, and it's a credit to her because the whole game tonight they face guard her, and she and I had to talk about some things and work on some things and see how people are playing you, but they're essentially taking her away and not allowing her to get open looks. And tonight I thought she did a couple more things that really looked like her old self. She wasn't totally her whole self, but like I told her when she came off the court, I said that's a start. It's a start because we've got a lot of meaningful basketball here in the next month and a half, and to get her peaking at the right time, I'd rather her be peaking now than to have peaked and then start on the downslide. So I think that this is the energy that we need from her as she progresses for the season, and I think good things will happen for us. And if she's progressing and peaking at the right time, we're going to be phenomenal.
Ryan, and one more.
Coach, I know you guys had a moment of silence earlier, not to switch gears too much, but I think of the tragedy happening in downtown Blacksburg. You might just do a reaction towards that.
Well, I'm still gathering information. Obviously, we talk to our kids about the situation, and I think the scary part, the event in itself is scary. The way that the world is going is scary, but it's also scary too when you have a lot of misinformation that's out there. There's, I remember the good old days. If Mark Berman put it in print and at the Daily News Record, it was because he did research, and that was what you had. We didn't have Twitter, and now they have Twitter, and now they have Instagram, and now they have everything. And when I walked in and I wanted to talk to them, I first and foremost I asked them what they had heard, and the stories that they had heard, it was just, it was all over the place. So now you got to decipher, and so I have to give a moment there, and I have to say, look, just because you read it doesn't mean that it's true, and so the administration has been wonderful, just offering up services for kids if they do need everything, but it's senseless violence, and I don't understand it. I'm sure you don't understand it. Why you take another life, your life is essentially going to be ruined, probably over something that just doesn't mean anything. And so, obviously, the Blacksburg community is mourning. There have been so many people who have reached out to me because of obviously they associated with Virginia Tech. But I think, our administration, our police department, everybody's done a tremendous job to make us all feel safe. But it's just a tragedy, a senseless tragedy. A young man's life was taken, and I don't know him. I don't know of him. I just heard he was a high school student, if I'm correct, and who probably has so much life to live. And I don't know what the situation was over, but nobody's life is worth it. It's funny. I listened to music today, Tribe Called Quest, and it's one of my favorite albums. And during one of the excerpts, a woman says, you're not any more of a man if you pull the trigger, and you're not much less if you don't. So it's just senseless. It's senseless, and so I pray for the people that have been affected. Pray for them, and obviously the young man's life got cut short, and it's tragedy, but it's just senseless. And hopefully we all, things can turn for the better, and doesn't seem like it's happening that way, but I hope it does. Very, very near future.
Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thanks, Coach.
all right, guys.